and various other lies they brought along. And they had this delegation of imams. I think 4 or 5 of them went around to the Middle East, starting in December of 2005, well over 2 months after the publication, on September 30th. So this, of course, was meant to create a stir in the Middle East, in the Muslim world. What is not known is whether or not these imams were invited to come, or it was all made up. But it had the desired effect. But I do think that they acted in collusion with the OIC, the Organization of the Islamic Conference, who then stepped in. But I think there were several. I think in order to get the true picture of why the paper Jyllands-Posten commissioned these cartoons.
This is a daily newspaper in Denmark?
It is a daily newspaper.
And it's one of the major ones?
It is the biggest circulation newspaper.
So the largest circulation newspaper in Denmark. And they requested a series of cartoons about Muhammad, about Islam?
About Muhammad.
About Muhammad.
As I recall, yes. Right. And the reason they did that was because there had been a number of incidents leading up to this. Islamists in the country had been stepping up a campaign against free speech. Right. And there were several bad incidents. A well-known writer could not find an illustrator who would make drawings for his children's book on Muhammad out of fear. A well-known stand-up comedian said he would never dare to poke fun at Islam or Muhammad.
While saying I think he said he would urinate on a picture of Jesus or something.
Oh, he would eat out. Yeah, I think that.
He said it quite honestly. He said, "I would do that, but I would never make a comment about Islam."
That is acceptable in Denmark. You can do that. We have a law on blasphemy on our books. I think it's Article 140 of the Penal Code, but it's never used. Right. And it hasn't been used for decades. So all of a sudden now, this blasphemy becomes a problem. But the most dangerous incident, I think, was that immediately before the decision of Jyllands-Posten to commission these, a lecturer at Copenhagen University, who happened to be of Moroccan Jewish descent, had been quoting or reciting from the Quran as part of his course at the university. He was then abducted in broad daylight in Copenhagen and beaten up, severely beaten up, by a gang of Arabs. Nothing like that has happened for the entire history of that university, which goes back 525 years plus.
He was merely quoting from the Quran.
He was quoting from the Quran.
At a university class.
Yes.
And he was abducted and beaten up.
Beaten up, yes. And they never caught the guys who did it. But I mean, this was the sort of a situation in which the very brave editors of the Jyllands-Posten decided to do something. Right. They wanted to demonstrate or to test whether or not we still enjoy free speech in the country. And that was the reason. It was not a gratuitous, malicious attempt to denigrate or malign anyone.
The result of the cartoons, we're going to go to the break in just a few moments. Do you have freedom of speech in Denmark? Do we have freedom of speech in North America?
I don't know about you. We do in Denmark.
You do?
We do in Denmark because we fought for it. We only have free speech because we did this, or because the Jyllands-Posten did this.
But this man has to have police protection. He
does. And so will the North Americans have to pretty soon if they continue not speaking out freely. I hope you do. I hope you keep up free speech here. But the action, Jyllands-Posten's action, and the action of this brave man here, kept a door open for free speech. We have a room for free speech that has been kept open. It does cost something. There are personal costs that must be paid.
More than 100 people died after this.
I think it was about between 100 and 200 people died, killed in demonstrations and whatnot. But I mean, who is to blame for that? Certainly not Jyllands-Posten. No. Certainly not Kurt.
By the way, what does that mean in English, the newspaper's name?
It means the Jutland Post.
The Jutland Post?
Yeah. Okay. Jutland is the main part of Denmark. Peninsula. Yeah.
A lot more to hear, because we still do have the freedom to speak. Don't go away. Welcome back, Michael Corens Show. And, you know, when we were offered the opportunity to interview the man who drew the most famous, stroke infamous cartoon of the collection of around a dozen about Muhammad, do we do the show or not? It's an exclusive interview you can have with this man. And I'm being absolutely candid with you now. As soon as I was contacted, I spoke to a producer and director and then the head of the station, because there are possible consequences. I'm sure nothing will happen. I hope nothing will happen. But as this show is being aired, and the repeat of the show, it'll be on YouTube, I assure you, some people will be extremely angry. Now, this must be emphasized. There are many people in the Muslim world, in the Muslim diaspora, in the heartland of Islam, who will say, oh, I don't like that cartoon, but I disagree with it. They have a right to publish it. I disagree. There are many, though, who will say you have no right to publish that cartoon, and this was demonstrated by the fact that there was so much violence and storming of foreign embassies and boycotts. Well, boycotts are allowed, but terrible violence and intimidation. And 3 men charged with plotting to kill this innocent man who lives under police protection. We saw what happened with Ezra Levant, who was the only person really in this country, in the Western Standard, who dared to publish the cartoons and then publish pages of letters, both support and oppose. Was taken to so many, he had death threats, by the way, but also taken to human rights commissions. In this country, in this civilized country, taken to human rights commissions. How dare you do such a thing? It's an ongoing debate, and I do believe we have to choose sides. Kurt Westergaard, cartoonist, has chosen sides, as has Lars Hedegaard, president of the International Free Press Society. Did you hear from many Muslims who said to you, I don't like the cartoon, but I do defend your right to draw it and have it published?
Well, I heard from many Muslims who didn't like the cartoon, but they didn't accept it as a part of the debate in a democratic society, in a circular democratic society. I was always greeted with curses, you know. It's very difficult, I think, for a Dane today to discuss a matter if the arguments from the other side are curses. Go to hell and stay there, and so on.
When what happened initially? Because, as you say, you drew the cartoon, and I knew the author Salman Rushdie a little, and I know with him he was in shock. He had no idea this was going to happen. Did the police contact you after the cartoon appeared? Who told you that your life may be in danger?
The PET.
It's like the detective police.
Yes, the Intelligence and Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they phoned you?
What?
Did they telephone you?
Yeah, and then they came very fast.
And what did they say?
Yes, they said that we have got to, my wife and I, to leave the house, and they would take care of us and find some safe house where we could be. And then we were away, I think about 3/4 of a year, and we were moving from safe house to safe house. I still worked, but I had to, you know, drive different ways every day, and I think we lived in 10 different houses and drove in 10 different cars. But all the time we were supported very, very good and tight by the PET. And you know, my basic feeling in this situation was anger. I was very angry because I was threatened. I had, in fact, only done my job. So anger is a very good active feeling when you are threatened. You feel in a way that you strike back.